I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector News podcast, and we're on location at the Resourcing Tomorrow conference in London, England. And I have sitting across from me, Jeff Swinoga, the CEO and president of Exploits Discovery. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks, Michael. It's great here being in London at the Minds and Money show. Busy time, and no, it's great to be doing this podcast with you.
Yeah, you're over in Newfoundland, I'm over in Prince Edward Island, and of course, in order for us to get together in the same room, we have to go all the way across the ocean to England to do this, right?
Yeah.
So for those of my listeners who aren't familiar with Exploits, let's give them the 10,000 foot view of the company.
Sure, yeah. Exploits Discovery is a junior exploration company in central Newfoundland, Canada, and we're exploring for high-grade orogenic gold. We had our first gold discovery this year, which was tremendous. Looking hopefully have a couple more next year. We're well-funded. We have over $7 million in cash. We have very good supporting shareholders with Eric Sprott at 17%. Newfound Gold themselves, $1 billion exploration company right beside us, owns about 9% of us. So well-funded, well-supported, great board, great local team in Gander, and looking to keep discovering gold in the future.
Yeah, when you say Newfound is right next door to you, that's kind of a bit of an understatement. You're basically on the same trend line as Newfound.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Michael. And just to kind of unpack that, I mean, Newfound has done a fantastic job with the last 4 years, really kind of kickstarting this gold rush in central Newfoundland. Just over like a 5 to 6 kilometer stretch, they've discovered 17 different gold discoveries. The two big ones being Keats and Iceberg. They've grown to be $1 billion market cap, well-funded and supported by Eric Sprott, owns about 20% of them. So I kind of call them our big brother. They kind of paved the way for companies like ourselves to discover gold as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, 2023 was it seemed like a quiet year, but you guys are really busy behind the scenes setting the table for 2024. Let's go through the highlights of what you accomplished last year.
Yeah, sure. No, this year has been really a great setup year. Like what happened last year, just around this time, we picked up some amazing claims. We picked up some of the best claims you can stake in the province of Newfoundland. One's called Bullseye, and the other two are nearby as well. Large blocks of claims that haven't been available for 3 years. So when we staked them successfully, we beat out 100 other competitors. Eric called us up and said, how did you beat out everyone, and when can you drill it? So Bullseye in particular is the one that's right on the Appleton trend along this gazebo. So this year what we did is we did some geophysical work on Bullseye, VLF and MAG, wanting to find out where this Appleton Fault is kind of meandering through our property. We put our first drill hole in it in February, struck gold. It was great. We were just kind of looking to see where the Appleton was, and we hit gold in our first hit, which was nice. We continued to put about 30 holes into it. And then by about May, we announced our Horseshoe gold discovery. We're kind of on this Western theme, Bullseye and Horseshoe, and we'll figure out what the next name is, next discovery is next. But yeah, so great drilling program. But it's literally after we announced our Horseshoe discovery, Newfound Gold started coming out with discoveries of their own right nearby. They came out with Everest, with just on the southern border. They came out with Jackpot, just on the south eastern side, and they also came with K2. So we realized that they were really drilling all the way around us in the south. So we stopped our drill program because we weren't quite sure exactly if Horseshoe was going to be the big hit for us or not. And we let Newfound Gold do a lot of the drilling to the south. And literally about a month ago, they announced some better hits at Jackpot. They announced 185 meters of high grade gold striking east-west. They basically said it was continuous and it looks like it goes onto our property. So what we did is we did some 3D modeling on Leapfrog, took all the public information. Looks like there's a splay trending onto our property to Bullseye South. So from a Bullseye perspective, we're looking to drill that again in January. We just announced it on Monday. So really great year to kind of set up, hopefully, for more gold discoveries around Bullseye. So that's the Bullseye property. But in the interim, when we stop drilling between Bullseye and when we're going to start again, we've been doing a lot of work on our much larger property on the Appleton called the Gazebo. Now, Gazebo is 7+ kilometers of the Appleton, almost a similar size to what Newfound has to the south, where they had those 17 gold discoveries. So we've got high hopes for Gazebo. So first thing we did is a lot of ground truthing. Our local team has been crawling all over Gazebo, blitzing it. As actually some of our neighbors have called and said, Jeff, looks like your team is blitzing Gazebo. So we've been doing that this summer. looking for outcrops, looking for indicators. And we also did LiDAR, we did mag. We see similar splays kind of coming off gazebo around the Appleton like we do to the south with Newfound. We also did some till samples. We saw some really high grade grains coming through. Basically, the grains are 5 times higher than the background in some of these hot spots around gazebo. So what we're doing is we're kind of nurturing and building and fostering our gazebo property to hopefully have some drill ready targets for the summer of next year. So priority number 1 is get back to Bullseye, show hopefully some new discoveries to the south, and then tackle gazebo in the summer to the fall next year.
Wonderful. As I say,
Yeah.
quietly behind the scenes, a lot of work that's set up for 2024. So you mentioned a summer drill program.
Yeah.
What else is on the agenda for 2024?
Yeah, so far what we announced is just a kicker program for our Bullseye program to the south, just to look for that jackpot extension. So that's a small program. It's only going to cost probably about $500,000. So well funded again with that. But the 2,500 meters, and then we'll see where it goes from there. If it gets bigger and better, of course, we'll do more drilling around there. And also maybe the possible extension across with Everest. And even just today, Michael, Newfound Gold announced more great drill hits around K2. Now, K2 is to the west of Bullseye. So far we've been talking to the sort of southeast of Bullseye. Now we're talking, looks like they've had some really good hits on K2. These are lower grade, but larger intervals. So, and it's getting closer, about 200 meters to our southwest border of Bullseye. So again, things are just kind of heating up to that southern rim, if you want to call it. So we're going to explore that a little bit more, see if there's something to the west of Bullseye, as well as what we're tackling to the east and south. And then to your point, so that's going to be sort of the first half of the year focused on that Bullseye property. And then the second half is going to maybe switch or maybe have a second drill on gazebo. So nothing's been announced yet on our drill plans for gazebo. We're still kind of nurturing and fostering those, advancing those programs to on gazebo first before we make any announcements. But that's the game plan. So the short and sweet is we think Bullseye is going to be the spark for our company to kind of show that, hey, we've got same type of geology, we've got the similar splays, we're hitting gold discoveries like Newfound, and then that's going to be their spark. And then our bigger, hopefully, billion-dollar company making property will be hopefully gazebo.
Wonderful. Now, you keep talking about Newfound Gold.
Yeah.
When I talk to people about exploits and they ask me, I say exploits is what Newfound Gold was about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. And quite frankly, wouldn't you like to have invested in Newfound 3 or 4 years ago? What's the difference in the market cap for Newfound versus you, and where's the main differences in the discrepancy?
Yeah, and Michael, great question, because again, Newfound started drilling 4 years ago and tremendous success. First drill hole, they had 90 grams over 20 meters, kind of kickstarted this whole gold rush. This is our first year drilling right on the Appleton Fault. In prior years, the company did drill kind of around the fault, but not actually in close proximity to the fault. So that's the difference this year. So really, if you look at us almost like a Newfound was 4 years ago, and you say, okay, what's our potential future going forward? We do see a lot of good things happening for us. We do have to stay well funded. We still have to stay focused. We got a great team on the ground, and the key elements are all there and kind of create that billion-dollar valuation for our shareholders.
Wonderful. And the programs for this summer, they're all funded with, you $7-8 million in the bank, you said?
Yeah.
So
Officially you've got $7.8 million, $6 million of hard, a couple million of flow through. So well funded for this program coming up for Bullseye. But the key thing is going to be to us to as we kind of delineate and show some of these future gold discoveries and which ones could be potentially economic. Those are the ones we want to go to. Like, for example, okay, it's great that we found Horseshoe. It's open in all directions, but as Eric Sprott would say, you got to think big. You always got to go for the biggest discovery. So what we're planning to do is kind of figure out, all these gold discoveries around Bullseye, look at what we have at gazebo, and then go after one and make it like a big resource and go down that path. But we got to figure out where there's a lot of gold everywhere around where we are. We just got to figure out which is the one we want to focus on.
Okay, so that's what the plan for summer drilling this year will be, to determine which is the principal property of these two.
That's right.
Wonderful.
And hopefully they're both.
Hopefully they're both. But that's a terrible problem, because
Oh,
that
I
means
know. That's
that
a
means you're
terrible
going to have to
problem.
raise twice as much money
Yeah.
going forward after
Yeah.
you discovered this. So
But shareholders are going to benefit from all the good news, right? Yeah.
no, absolutely. So if people want to continue to follow your story and participate in future private placements, et cetera, as this story winds its way through and it starts to get more exciting, how do they get a hold of you and the company?
Yeah, sure. We try and answer phone calls within 24 hours. Contact me. I get people sending me WhatsApp, voice messages on my cell phone. But yeah, just contact the main line. Shanda, our VP of IR, gets back to people right away. We host some lunches in Toronto sometimes. We do go to the various conferences. We want to be more active on social media as well. We want people to kind of share in the journey and excitement that we see. Our team in Gander is just super geared up. And every time I go to Gander, I get super excited about what they see and what I'm seeing. So I just want our shareholders to share in that journey.
Wonderful. I will post, as always, the contact information at the end of the description of this particular podcast. And Jeff is completely correct. Feel free to reach out to him at any time. He's very receptive to returning calls. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to talking with you down the road as this story continues to roll out.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Exploits Discovery is a paid sponsor of the Prospector News. The host owns shares of Exploits Discovery bought at the market for investment purposes. The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.